It was the summer of 2017 when Roberta Ursay and her family decided to take a vacation. They were going down to the southern tip of Florida, Panama Beach to be exact, where they were going to relax, unwind, and enjoy the sun. Now, a few hours into this excursion, Roberta's youngest boys, an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old, her sons, decided to go out for a quick swim in the ocean. Except they didn't return. And Roberta started to get worried. She started walking up and down the beach trying to find them amongst the crowd, and that's when she said she heard them from the ocean screaming, "Help, help, we're stuck, we're stuck." Her boys were drowning, and like any mother would, instincts kick in, and Roberta dives out into the ocean, right? Her two uncles, the boys' two uncles, they did the same thing along with a few other strangers, and unfortunately, as it happens in so many situations like this, 2 drowning kiddos turn into several drowning people in a matter of seconds. In total, between the family and the few strangers, there were 9 people who were most likely going to die that day. Now, a little ways down the beach was a woman by the name of Jessica Simmons. Now, Jessica and her husband were out for an evening stroll, enjoying an ice cream on a seemingly random night when they saw a group gathering down by the beach, desperately pointing out into the ocean. And at first, she thought it was a shark, but when her and her husband ran up, she realized that there were people who were drowning. And without hesitation, Simmons starts facilitating a human chain, desperately, convincing everyone around her who was strong enough to be a part of it. And one by one, person by person, link by link by link by link, they created 80 different unique links, 80 different humans that finally got out to the people who were drowning, and each person was brought back alive. Amazing. Here's the point. When you look out at any given school, high school, middle school, there is a 100% chance you are going to see kids who are struggling, who are drowning in their fear, in their stress, in their anxiety, drowning because of a pain caused by a disability or names that they've been forever called, drowning in the shame or the confusion of the physical, emotional, or too often sexual abuse that they're having to endure. Drowning simply because they're teenagers, right? New brains, new bodies, new pressures, new choices. I mean, even the kiddo who on paper has it all together many times is drowning. And here we are, the adults, the onlookers at the beach that day. It's like when we look out, we can clearly notice that kids are struggling, but there's so many. We can feel so helpless. Which that's the paradox, right? One person, no matter how hard they care, can't get to everyone. And yet what we know is that everyone needs at least one person who cares. So where do we start? The answer is to create chains of human connection, sometimes up to 80 people long, so that when, not if, but when students start to struggle, when they get caught up in the riptide or the undertow of life, we can be out there to support them and to show them that there's a way back to safety. And what does that take? Number one, it takes a chain maker, a Jessica Simmons, someone who's not only going to see that there's a problem, but who's going to actively start doing something about it. And that's not an easy role, and it's not for everybody. But if you think about it, without Jessica Simmons, 9 people died that day. Maybe you're a chain maker. Maybe you're the person who's got that personality, that charisma that people just connect to, or you have that passion to start that club or organization that advocates for more respect, or maybe you see someone who's like literally drowning right in front of you right now, and even though you don't have the natural leadership ability or whatever you think it takes, maybe you start stepping up and start stepping in. Maybe you're a chain maker, but maybe you're not, right? Maybe you're not that person. Maybe you're a link. Let me explain. Maybe you're the bus driver who, when that kiddo who's never happy gets on your bus, you greet them with a good morning. Or maybe you're the shop teacher who spends a little bit of extra time with that kid who connects with you and you alone in your school. Or maybe you're a student and you see that kiddo who has nobody to sit with at lunch every single day, and you say, "Hey bro, come sit with us today." Listen, we needed 80 different people, 80 different links to get out to those drowning human beings. We need everybody. And what we know is that on any given day, there are thousands of kids who are drowning, and they have no chain, and there's nobody that's noticing and nobody that's seeing. And the consequence to this is that people start losing hope, and then they start hurting themselves, or then, even worse, they start hurting others. I mean, it's February 21st, 2018 today as I make this video. Less than 7 days ago, 17 innocent high school kids were brutally murdered by a sick, sad, disconnected human being. And am I saying that all this kid needed was a few extra hugs and this doesn't happen? No, obviously it's way, way bigger than that. But you are going to have a tough time convincing me that this kid wasn't drowning for a very, very long time. And even though he had support, that chain, the human connection chain, didn't make it out. It wasn't long enough. There weren't enough links. I don't know. I mean, we may never know, but what we do know is that every kid needs a chain made up of multiple links from multiple facets from their life, whether it's teachers and parents and administrators and friends, and as Roberta Ursay will say firsthand, sometimes complete strangers. A few days after the incident, Roberta met up with many of the links that made that human chain up, that got out to her and her family. She was incredibly grateful, incredibly thankful, emotional, as you can imagine, and she told them that every one of them would be the hero in their family for the rest of their lives. Here's the truth. You may never get that thank you. You may never see the fruit of your labor. You may never have anybody come up to you and call you a hero, but you got to know that the work that you're doing, the connections you are making, the links that you are creating matters. Every chain matters. Every link matters. Because every kid matters. Thanks for watching.